Pros love-hate relationship with Ledgestone. We have even more troubles with Airbnbs.
And the biggest C tier of the year, but that's just disc golf. I'm Jefferson,
I'm Swiss cheese.
and this is our podcast type of thing. We're talking about Ledgestone. This is where we go through our stories and things from the tour. I don't think we
Tour
ever
life stories.
tour life stories. Get that little call out right there.
But we're gonna move to Ledgestone. Our home tournament, I guess.
Oh, we moved on from that. We're now Preserve homies. That's our home tournament. Just putting it on the record.
Gotta go throw. Gotta go. Hit us up. We're for sale. We're ready to ditch Ledgestone and head over to Preserve as
It's
our
not like
home
we do anything at Ledgestone. We just hang out there. It's just the one that we decide we're gonna go to all the time.
It is always
'cause
like
it's 3
weird
hours
vibes
away.
too.
At Ledgestone.
Yeah. No, the fans are great. Like not with the fans. It's just like, man, do I really want to walk through this like Discraft lineup after the video I just did? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or like it's always like the weird kind of looks. We've had like a Ledgestone employees like tell us like we're awesome and like on the side like one-on-one, and then I'm like, well, yeah, Nate don't like us.
Well,
Understand.
kind of reasonably so. Like, I'm not gonna say I don't know why he wouldn't like us per se, but I feel like everything we've said has been valid. I don't regret anything that I've said.
I don't either. It's just like it is funny, like because you're like, oh man, I don't know, kind of harsh. I kind of make fun of like, I mean, I do make a fun of like Ledgestone quite a bit.
Well, yeah, Ledgestone in general. Because in this video, I think I straight up said Nate Heinold looks like the person to have a Vanity's license plate. Only because I saw him get into his truck, which had a Vanity license plate in the parking lot. So I was like, well, write that down for later.
Those are the bars that we have. Sometimes our content writes ourselves. What can we say?
I literally
like,
got a call from an owner of a different disc golf company. He's like, "Oh my god, you nailed it!" I'm like, "I know, dude.
I know, we saw
I
it.
saw it, but it's funny, right?"
Yeah, still works.
Yeah. So, and this is the okay, I guess to set up the story to begin with.
Sure.
This is the point where this was your last event.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. We know if you're going to
Well,
Worlds at this point or something.
Yeah, Worlds are still in the air, but this was going to be like the split off. So Jay was going to go do the remainder, and I had to go real life it at home.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of doing the split content. So yeah, this is like one of the stops where like we drove separate, and like Jay was going to be gone after this, and like kind of hit everything up. So like also like weird FOMO, like when you're off tour, it's kind of weird, but like. And it's also, like I said, kind of our home tournament. We see a bunch of fans here. You got a bunch of people that play rounds with. Locals come to this stop. So, like, yeah, it was kind of like a nice little kickoff. And Ledgestone's that. We've been coming to Ledgestone for years. Like,
it was the first course we went to 2019 Worlds, and pretty much every year after that, when there was a Ledgestone, we were at it.
Yeah. So like,
that's why we call it our home tournament. Like, no matter what, it was the event we always would make sure we set aside, even would bring people because it was our special disc golf event of the year. For so long.
And when you got locals who kind of expect us, or like people who know where we're from, they kind of expect us there. So we got to make sure we
show the love.
Up. Yes.
But to start the event, we both drove down separately. I got there a few hours before or whatever, right before the press conference. We show up with the timing literally showing up with maybe an hour or so to.
This is the funny bit of the story. Like, I really thought like we were driving separately, but I kind of thought we were driving together still.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
about
like
that.
I kind of thought this was like, I thought we were caravanning. So Jay's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave it like this. I'll be here. And so like I'm waiting for Jay, like garage open, ready to roll. And then I'm like, where you at? Like an hour after this, I'm like, you good? Because Jefferson's never on time.
Never, yeah, no.
So like after like an hour and a half, I'm like, bro, where you at? And you're like, I'm on the road. I'm like, what? And so like,
and I left on time.
Yeah, so I left I left late. So yeah, like I cut it close straight to like I got there like right when the press conference started, or maybe missed like
I think
the
it
first
almost
one.
like started.
Yeah,
because that was the time we got the email and we were told what time the press conference would be, or I found where time it was supposed to be at, and it was an hour before it was like the actual start time. This was written wrong, so it was like, bro, like this is starting early or whatever. Like I'm gonna just set things up, and then I think you remember you showed up not too long after the first one was going. And man, I wish I knew what was told. I remember there's some information was said in the room, and I remember immediately having to tell you it. We like had to walk out of the room or something when
Oh, and some drop.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but I remember it being like, bro, we got it. Like this was something that we were speculating, and I was like, we called it, bro. Like I got the confirmation we needed.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered. Oh, it's gonna annoy me. It's gonna.
Those are the fun. That is kind of the like, not to get off subject, but kind of the like, this off season's so much different than the other ones, because like the other ones we had to speculate, and like the other ones, like the way you speculate is you just pay attention to the ones that you know who know, and like listen to what they say, and then you're like, okay, it's this now. Like, but now to just be told, it's so weird. Like, you know what I mean? Just to be like, hey, this is happening. This is happening. Oh, by the way, don't talk about this. And then you're like, oh my goodness. Like, it's so different.
I hate that the most is when
It's
people
so
are like, off the record now, or this. It's
It
like,
is
bro,
crazy
just
how
don't
right
tell
we
me, don't
were,
tell
like,
me.
without knowing also.
No,
Like, that is like pretty wild. Like, just to be able
just
to
to be
put
that
it
confirmation. I like when the first people they'll be like, you guys knew it. You guys predicted it.
Yeah.
And they'll be commenting in other people's things like Disc Golf World said this. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
dude, dope. like
Yeah.
I don't even know what you're alluding to right now.
I
but
kind of feel
I'm
like we're
in.
getting a little more respect this off season.
Hey, we just got mentioned in Grip Lock from Foundation for the first time
No,
ever.
really?
That's what I got a text. So
You got a text?
I gotta get.
I haven't watched
I have
it
to
yet.
watch the.
I do usually
to
watch
see.
it before.
I like how my response back was, "Did they talk shit?" I was told no, but I'll have to go
Alright.
back and
Nice.
we can see that.
That's
Because
interesting.
we'll have a different Foundation story around World's time, so
Oh,
that would be a
that would be
banger
funny.
podcast too. So
That
stick
would-
around
that
for
would,
the series.
that would be good.
Subscribe because we have a lot of banger stories.
Because I did
to
make
tell.
it to Worlds, guys.
Yeah.
It was up for debate at this point, but I did make it to Worlds.
The press conference happened though, and nothing too memorable went down. Nothing I can think of. I looked back at the title of
No.
it, and it was Phil Deloney talking about the standards for next year are supposed to be like higher. They're standardizing things. So I was like, yeah, this was a boring one then. But then we go back because we were not staying in the minivan.
No.
We were not. We had a homie, Christen from Ink Me Dies, and this was I can't remember how previous he told me, but
The guy who made Jefferson throw across a road.
yeah, if you listened to the last podcast, Ink Me Dies, homie, he said something that we could have stay in his crib for Ledgestone because he was playing on the amateur side.
Yeah.
So for months preview, he told it was like I said, this was probably at Music City time.
Yes.
And now
Yeah.
never had contact with him, never talked to him, and then it was like soon to go. And I had to reconfirm we were all good. Well, we wish we were. After the press conference, met up with him. Sick Airbnb, by the way.
Sick Airbnb.
right?
Yeah, sick
When we both
Airbnb.
get our own beds, that's a dub.
Yeah, we had our own separate room. Sick Airbnb. Yeah, it was pretty dope. It like had a nice layout, and we're able to work. We're able to like good internet. The shower was nice.
It's always
too.
better when you don't have to go to a Panera or somewhere stupid to just sit and work and be in. I just like to lounge around and be at my own pace and not have to worry about public chargers.
Yeah,
how
because
loose they are.
there was 4 of us, and they were playing in the event, and we were covering the event. So they were
Mhm.
playing on the amateur side, and it was also really cool to like be part of that, like to see what their packs were, to like because Ledgestone is famous for their packs, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what
It pays.
that's
for
why
your
people
entry.
go, right? And then the fire sale on Facebook afterwards, like right after. So like it was cool to witness the packs, hear the stories, hear the lines. And this was both of their first time, I think. No, one it was his second time. Mark was his second time.
Matt.
And Matt, sorry. M words. And then Ikmi was with it was his first time.
His
then.
first time.
Yeah. So like it was kind of neat to get that perspective.
And we get the classic disc golfer rundown of round recaps and afterwards. So it was
Yeah,
cool. I kind of like that
yeah.
aspect of like, all right, let me live through your round real
Yeah.
fast.
It would have been a lot better if it was like in the Airbnb for the entire time.
Yeah.
We did. I think we went out to
We
dinner.
just probably got food or something.
Yeah, I think we went out to dinner, came back, and the door was locked. Like, and we couldn't get in. Like, it was a powered lock, and I think the deadbolt battery was dying,
Mhm.
and so like we had to call, and then, like of course the person who was in charge of the Airbnb did not live in the area, was not from the area, so she's contacting a handyman, and like it's late. Like I think we like
around
yeah we were.
9-ish.
I think we were drinking too. Like it was yeah.
It was dark and it was summertime.
Yeah,
So that
and, like,
gives you perspective.
So yeah, so we had to like frustrating as hell, like had to wait for someone to lock. And so then we get told like they're gonna fix it tomorrow. They're gonna put a new lock on it tomorrow when we're gone. We tell them we're gone. And we're like, cool. I think it was day 1 of the tournament
Mm-hmm.
was the next day. So this is the day before the tournament. And we go enjoy the full day and we come back and it's locked again. And it's like later. Like it's late.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it might have been a Fly Mart too. Did we go to the Fly Mart?
We went to
No,
something.
yeah,
Again. I don't know,
something, yeah. And so like now it's like 10, 11 and these guys have another round to go. They're playing it. They gotta like get up at like 7. So people are like cranky, and then you're also cranky because like we've already done this,
Mm-hmm.
and like
I don't think the phone conversation went too well with the landlord
no,
lady
yeah,
the first
and
time.
so
Like, it was pretty much aggressive
yeah,
off the bat.
yeah, and like deservedly so, like
Oh no, 100%. Like
yeah,
the
like,
contact and the communication was
which
horrible.
we were not part of. Like we're guests,
yeah.
like,
We're just living.
we're just observing, and like so yeah, like this conversation's got a little out of hand, and because of a technicality of it was under a wife's name and she was not present, we got kicked out.
Some bullshit that happened that seemed real
Yeah.
fucked up, but we got
Yeah.
kicked out
Yeah.
real late at night. So can you only imagine getting hotels that late at night with the city of
Ledgestone,
Peoria
yeah.
packed? Because you're not going to Peoria.
Nothing's
anytime
going
except
on but
to
this tournament in Peoria.
Ledgestone. That is,
Yes.
I think we just watched the video. It's like the 4th. We broke the record for
Yes.
the 4th time being like the biggest PDGA event
Yeah.
because of the amateur side.
Everything's booked. And the stuff that's not booked is you probably don't really want to stay there. But like
Gotta do what
whatever.
you gotta do.
And we did it. Credit to them, man, because like here, like I felt more bad for them because like we got a van. As much as it was like 100 degrees and I had no desire to be in a van sleeping,
We
but
had
like
that
we
plan.
had like a back plan and like, but like credit to Ink Me, found a hotel dead at night, and it was literally like a king size bed, a pull out mattress, and then Jefferson on an air mattress. And there was 4 of us, so 2 shared the bed, back to back. I had the air mattress, or I had the pull out that like when you pulled it out, like Jefferson was like, I'm not sleeping on that because it was like stained.
Yeah,
it was like classic,
it was
like bro,
bad. It was bad.
yeah, like this is like hotels where like you're not surprised if there's gonna be smoking in them, like you know what I mean. That's where we're kind of staying at. But like for us, it's like when we do stay at hotels, especially if we're paying for them, they're usually like the worst. Like we're
Whatever the cheapest possible we can get, that's what we're getting.
as long as the internet and the shower works, that's all, and it has a bed. That's all we care about. So like, yeah, we're as much as like people are worried about our comfort. It's really like, dude, we stayed in a minivan for like.
Yeah, this is we had a roof, I have a shower, and bathroom right there.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
in paradise.
yeah, so it's like kind of chill. But yeah, it was tight quarters, but we made it happen. And we stayed in that hotel room for the rest of the
Yeah,
trip.
it was fun. It was
Yeah.
chill. We all got cozy.
It was good company too. Like
Yeah,
great. It was
we're
like
homies.
yeah, like if I didn't like the people, I would have been a lot harder. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
But like it was like everybody was chill, and then like because they were like out so early, like we only hooked up like for fly marts and at night, so it's kind of like work too.
Yeah.
So those dudes are great.
Going on then to one of the practice rounds. I can't remember how we ended up at a practice round.
Had to have been after the press conference.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
just went to the course. I know we probably went to the course because they had I know they made changes. They had didn't they have 2 pins because there was 4 days there.
There was a bunch of different changes,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, one was the same. This was the same. I know hold the bridge hole and hole 9, they added a new location. And over the water on 17, they had a location.
Yeah,
the first one
island.
over the water, 13, I want to say, had the new back location that was getting complained
that everybody
about.
hated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
So-
wanted to make sure because at that point we were doing preview videos or whatever. I don't know what we're calling them. We were talking about course changes in a video where we would take clips of pros practice rounds like Ezra's, Aaron Gossage's, whenever they would talk about things. We would take things from the press conference when we would talk to tournament directors and just smash it all together. And then it's cool when we could actually show the B-roll of things. So that's what we were doing. And we were just walking around, wandering, taking video, basically, when it comes down to it. Doing that, again, practice round. So when we're doing this, there's pros playing, and we can get perspectives from them. Sometimes they jump in the interview, or they tell us a lot of information of what they really don't like, and they're just like, "Hey, if you want to mention this, go for it. Just don't mention my name." But whatever.
Yes.
You
And with
know?
Ledgestone,
feeds
that's
us.
quite easy. Like it is like Pros either love the stop or despise the stop.
And usually it depends if you're on Team Ledgestone and getting a check.
Yeah, or Discraft.
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever.
Pros were like, man, they're vicious, and this was right after the European tour or the festival. Yeah,
so
right after.
standards were
yeah,
like up top
dude.
of what could be.
Precisely.
Oh, you know what that thing I talked about? That information was. It was I heard that the Estonian government gave the $800,000 to the tournament.
Was it 800 or 86? I thought it was 86 grand.
1,000, 6 digits.
Oh, 60.
It was 6 digits.
860,000.
It might have been that. It was over eight. It was $800,000 or more.
Oh wow.
And that was with the first. I don't know. That information wasn't like out yet, and like whatever popularized. It might not even been that popular. I'm saying it here now, but I'm pretty sure that was used.
Oh yeah.
That I remember hearing that. And be like, bro, this
was it 800,000? I thought it was like
Yeah.
90,000. I mean, whatever.
No,
Either number.
It was like no, bro. It was
I remember
like ridiculous.
that damn like TV of like
yeah, bro.
broadcast
Yeah, that had to be that
like,
much
that had
alone.
to be, yeah,
bro.
that had to be pretty much up there. No,
But
we
that-
gotta,
yeah,
we
that
gotta
was
get
the
tight with
information.
Estonian disc golf. We need to get tight
Someone
with
from
Europe.
Estonia's
Yeah,
out there. We got
all of
fanatics
Europe. Hit us
probably
up.
listening to this. You know, got a bed.
We're for hire, guys.
Hey.
Anybody. No.
Legit. But going back, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, we were talking around, just walking around the practice round. We get to the bridge hole, and Luke Humphreys and the gang. It's like Tall Paul, and you said like Indiana.
Yeah,
people were in it.
there. Like I think everybody from Indiana was playing on there.
And then we get to the bridge hole. I think Luke looks at me and says, "You think you could birdie this?" No, I'm not gonna say no. Like, why would I say? Whatever. And then he says, "If I could birdie, he'd give me $20." And I didn't birdie. I went OB short by probably like a foot.
Yeah.
And then from there on out, every single hole, he's like, "If you birdie this, I'll give you $20."
Yeah.
And then it's something like 3 holes. All right. I didn't get the Calvin Heimberg ace
No,
one.
that
Didn't
one-
get that
yeah, that
one.
one's
But like,
tough. The
I
next one.
deservedly so. Like he was
Yeah.
just handing me prodigy shit that I've never used. No,
Yeah.
would I ever? So I'm just
Yeah.
used to like this flies like a X, and I'm like, okay. And then it wouldn't fly like that because it's like, hey Luke, I'm not a professional disc golfer. I don't throw like you. And he's like, oh, this is whatever. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
So I threw. I was like the chip easy forehand right before you walk to the water tower. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. that was
Easy,
cupcake.
easy birdie, and then you gotta do like the cool move where it's like, nah, you don't need to pay me. Mostly
Yeah.
because I didn't birdie like 2 holes before that. Like, why would you
Yeah.
give me $20? Just give me $20.
He
But
did try.
he's like, "What's your PayPal?" I'm like, if you gave me a $20 bill, I probably couldn't say no. But I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't even have PayPal right now, dude. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. But and then it was funny too because hole 13 when you're throwing over the water, he just hands me something, and in my mind, I'm just like, don't throw in the water. Just do not throw in the fucking
I
water.
threw
Like,
it
that's
in the water.
yeah, I threw it in the water.
Threw it in.
I and my just for
You could see it though. At least you could see it. Like
Oh, it was, like, right on the
yeah,
edge.
it was right
like,
on the
right
edge. So it
my
wasn't-
game is a lot of hyzer flip and throw something flippy. Luke
Yeah.
apparently was like, "Here's the most overstable stuff. You got it." So I'm
Yeah.
throwing like an overstable disc and hyzer into the water,
Yeah.
and that was the point where on hole
Yeah.
18 it crosses over. So there was a big pile of pros right there. Dunked it in the water.
Yeah,
in front of everybody.
that one's tough. Yeah, that
It's
is
funny.
kind of like you have 2 tees there. You have 7 across, so like everybody can watch everything, and you dunked it in the
Right in
water.
the water. Embarrassing.
But yeah, this is also the famous like, what is it? That 16 or 15, where they hand wrote on the sign the right
15. Yep.
15 where they hand wrote on the sign the right footage.
And that's when we learned that that's been happened before in
Yes.
2019. So this has been an
Yeah.
ongoing problem. And this is where some people might be like, who cares? It's just a distance that's off by a
Sure.
little bit. And then the perspective that made me care a little bit more, at least in terms of the pros, because the point that was reiterated by a couple of people was when you have a hole that says 312 or whatever it was, that's uphill with hitting this. Well, it's a small gap type thing, but there's a defined line that's
Yeah,
either big hyzer forehandish or a
or
technical.
Annie.
Yeah, Annie. When it goes from 312 uphill, it makes and people aren't hitting it. Some people might be like blah blah blah, have their anger towards that. When in reality, the hole is actually 360, where
Yeah.
that's a big difference in how that hole is designed because this isn't 50-foot ground or flat ground. You have the
No.
incline. You have then this tree that puts itself in the way, 2 sides of the fairway. That was the point where I was like, okay, yes, it's 50 feet off or whatever. This is why we should care, which is then hopefully portrayed in the video.
Yes.
But that gets lost because there's drama in the title and people are pissed off.
But it's also like, And to go, then the most important, like we were told, this has been mentioned several times for several
and
years,
made
several
aware
stops.
to the tournament
Yes,
director and to the
yes,
people that could easily
yeah.
next year, because I'm pretty sure most of I don't know if the signs are reused. I can probably look at the video, but they probably
The only thing
have
that the graphics are probably reused, but not the actual.
which is why they
signs.
don't
Yeah,
change the thing where it
exactly.
could
Yeah,
like, dude, if you're reprinting them
yeah.
and not reusing the same
I
ones,
can't
why do you
imagine.
not make the
Yeah.
change?
I can't imagine they're using the same.
There's
one.
got to be the year on it, right? That you have to keep.
Dude, I think
making
I think it's
ones.
literally plug and play. They're gonna put the whatever logo over whatever the
Mhm.
DGPT set signs
Yeah.
are. And so like yeah, this is kind of like goes to show like as far as what the stop is. So it is kind of like funky. And I think it was a little bit made worse this year with everything that happened at Champions Cup. So like and coming off the festival, I think like and Europe in general, I think like everybody was just like tired of this stop because this is a plus event too. Like this is not like this is supposed to be it. Like this is supposed to be some of your pinnacle of what your sport
Mhm.
is supposed to offer, right? And you had some pros that disagree. I know Drew's famously continuously mentions the different tee pads and how they're not universal and how there's like concrete here and there's this here and there's this there. And so like yeah, that's again like and this kind of also is the classic like TD player tour dynamic and the weird like pull the tug and pull of like who gets what, who gets listened to more, who gets paid more attention to, and like it's classic. Like like most TDs will always say pros are being a little too whiny about things, and then the
That's what we
pros
got
are
every
like,
week.
this is a professional league. Why aren't we acting professional?
Yeah.
Like
It's true.
so, and like Ledgestone is kind of the epitome of it. And for it to be like a plus event, like I get it. You're right. Like when you compare it to the other plus events, it's like,
Do the
yeah,
other plus events have people fishing?
no,
No, they didn't. Damn, that's not like a thing that
no.
happens.
Well, MVP, they pay the guy to like scuba
Oh,
dive.
true.
Yeah,
You're
he's
right.
fishing.
You're right.
Yeah, that's about it. But no, that was weird too. You talked to those people. Didn't you talk? Didn't you go up to him, or was it a pro that actually said
No,
something?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh, I know you were right there when there was.
I wanted to interview one of them because I think it would be really funny if I just was like, "Hey, why are you fishing here?"
You know what's going on, man?
Yeah, and it'd be hilarious. But no, because they got kicked off. I would say relatively quick. Like it was a couple cards that had to handle it. Some people made more mention, and it was funny because Corey Ellis was on the T pad, and then he had I think it was just the kid doing UDisc was like. He's like, hey, go tell them to move.
Well, to be fair, I think they had like 5 people on UDisc on that card. Like, I think like that was the joke because I think we were both there and you went with them and I stayed for more shots.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, cause it comes back, like it goes down and comes back is kind of the Ledgestone route. And like, I do remember they're like, and somebody's like, man, that was kind of rude. And he's like, there's 5 of them. Like, what do you like? But then, like, they're literally one's doing nothing right now. Like,
I was at that caddy or whatever he was. Legit. He went up right away and yelled at the people and got him out of there. So it was pretty dope. Like he did what he was supposed to do.
it is kind of neat to see, like, when it comes to stuff like that, like, this is where pros get bothered. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when it's like little things like that, or like when people are walking through fairways and stuff and like not acknowledging like that, those are when the pros are like, this is too much. Like,
And at Ledgestone at points too, there was just random pedestrians that would be walking up sidewalks that would be pretty much in line with the fairway, sometimes indirectly line. That was the cool thing about being on hole 3 right there, whatever it is. Hole 3 is Eric Oakley's lining up a shot. A random person, jogger or something, runs right through. He turns and looks to the card mates. I'm gonna take my extra time to that. It's cool to be like seeing that, capturing that on video, so people could see like this is not a one-off time. Like you don't see it because the times you see coverage ever is live. The top 2 cards, yeah, shit's regulated. But for all of the morning time, this is the things they have to go through, and you know,
and there is a lot of people. Like there's a lot of there's amateurs drive. That's the other thing. Like, man, for somebody who like people who don't go to stops, if like your Ledgestone is your first one, especially if it was 4 days at Eureka like this was, you'd be like shell shocked at like what went on. because there's amateur tournaments that are going on that site, and they're driving through the property, driving across fairways where they're trying to tee off at times. Like there's a lot going that goes on at Ledgestone. So like when we like, I understand like people think like we're tearing it apart and like all that, or the pros tear it apart, but there's enough there to just kind of be like, guys, why is this is kind of weird? Like, you know what I mean? Like I think we've kind of outgrown Eureka in a lot of ways, especially when you're doing this large of a tournament. So it's kind of like, that's just being honest.
Ledgestone's also one of the events that's notoriously known for their fly marks and just being huge in that atmosphere. It's always at the like.
That is why
back of a
Christen
hotel.
came. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
because the player packs and the exclusive discraft drops that you get at the event.
Yes.
And usually there's just a lot of different vendors, and it's just the atmosphere is good. For some reason, it felt like this was the first time it went down, like it downgraded. It didn't, every year that we went, it was like cooler. And this one was like a step back of, whoa, this is not.
Yeah, and it was 2 days, and I remember,
we were hyping it up to the boys.
Yeah, I do remember, like, hey, this is pretty big, and then like we got there, and I'm like, nah, this is empty. And this is like, again, like when we were talking about like there's signs of like the like COVID boom dropping, and this is like some of the signs that like you see at the courses when you see in attendance. You see fly marts, and you're like, whoa, this is different. Like this is not as busy. Now, some of it was sales driven. We also know some of it was cost driven, and that's why like a lot of people didn't show up. From what we were told, like a lot of vendors were just priced out of it. So, I get it, but like it takes away from the event. It really does. Like again, like when you have that large of a tournament, and it continues to be the largest, like give them more reasons to have more people show up next year. And part of that is the fly mart.
It's the experience side of it all. That was even with Ledgestone. The cool thing is you're playing different courses. You're doing different things. Be the spectacle of disc golf, not trying to gouge every dollar out of everybody.
Yeah. And there's a lot of cool things that they do, man. They feed all those pros. Like everybody's in there. That's like a lot. Like, man, I remember walking through there to get like a water, and it's like people eating pastas and pizzas, and like they fed them for 2 days, like at the fly mart. So you got a free meal if you were in the tournament, and not if you just kind of went in there.
You just walked in. We walked
just
in,
act like you belong. But yeah, the fly mart was kind of like interesting. Kind of
a cool way of saying boring.
When you've been to enough of these, like you get what's going on, and like so like at the very entrance, like as soon as you walk into the fly mart, the very entrance is discraft. Like it's the first, and I like again, they're stopped, but it's like the first this, and then they like pushed everybody in the back, and this is probably why it looks so sparse, because they pushed everybody so far back in this parking lot, where in the previous years you had that many vendors where it still looked full, but like this year is like, no, there's nobody there, and like, so yeah, it was kind of weird, but it wasn't. I didn't enjoy the fly mart this year.
We literally would do a lap every day and just leave.
Yeah, we did a little, That was about it.
Because once this is a multiple day fly mart too.
Yeah.
So when you go through the first day, like you've seen everything once. You try to talk to everyone you possibly can. You try to do those.
Yeah, we hang out. Yeah, we'll stop and chat up with the pros, the ones we're buddies with, and like kind of do like a slow round, slow walk. And then like you get pulled by friends, and you're kind of chatting that way. But yeah, like so we kind of make our rounds.
I would say this is the probably the fly mart has signed the most autographs and took the most pictures. Even Gavin Rathbun randomly asked to take a picture of me there, because I was wearing the jersey.
Yeah,
like, it made sense, but like I was like, hell yeah.
The best jerseys in the game, Rathbun.
They are
double eagles. Like, I don't even think it's close. Like Casey's is probably the next closest, but like it's not close.
Yeah,
sorry, Casey.
I'd rather rock the Gavin ones over the AB ones. Not gonna lie.
Ooh, AB's up there too. Yeah,
I still rock the all Rathbun's designs are dope too.
Dude, Ledgestone is like AB'd out. Like
trying to get everything they can.
Like AB out. Like you can't walk down Ledgestone without like counting. You know what? Next year we're gonna like have a camera on us, like attached to us, and we're gonna count AB jerseys.
Yeah, we should do that.
Just like dink, dink, dink. Do
cool
a running tally at like Ledgestone of like how many AB jerseys we see. because AB runs Peoria. Like AB's
They ain't
like,
lying.
yeah, and like I know that I know they get put up by somebody, and there's a lot that's
They got
doing that.
homies,
Yeah,
yeah, they got homies from way
exactly.
back
Like
when.
AB shows out in Peoria, but yeah. So the Fly Mart was kind of a bore, man. In all honesty, the like best part of the highlight was the gift that our roomie left us for the Fly Mart. That was about it.
Pretty
So,
much.
that was
Gift for always.
yeah.
Gift that we got known for.
What we got known for that? I didn't.
Dude, Luke Humphreys is yelling at us down the street during in the middle of his round, calling us out, dude.
That was at like 8:30 in the
In
morning.
the morning, bro. We're just sitting on a bench, and Humphrey's like, "Hey, yo, guys!" It's like, bro, you're playing like someone's putting over there. Don't
Yeah.
yelling.
Huge ass fucking blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
thing was like that thing was off the
We
rails.
would walk to the Fly Mart the first time. We had to ask like
Oh,
10
bro.
people, like, please, dog.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
they're the
man,
homies showed up.
you saw somebody and you're like, thank goodness someone showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there's
Then
only
we
two
did
of us.
that. We had to share it with 10 people. Then we did that same thing 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
And then was good for the day. Probably was the most productive day. And it was great. It was a good day.
that was
Really
a
good.
great day. Like, yeah, there's nothing better like getting up at 8:30 on the course, like hitting that. Then Luke made it funnier.
Literally dead ass called us out from the fairway.
Yeah.
And we,
I think it was like 2 holes over. It was like the classic, like, Luke, should you be yelling right now?
That's what I'm
like,
saying,
yeah,
bro.
like
That's
Luke,
what I'm saying.
like Oakley's also notorious for that. Like Oakley will yell
being
at,
friendly.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
hey Proctor, what'd you shoot? Like, just I'm like, bro, are you yelling? Like, come on.
They got the pass, bro. You're a pro. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want.
So, but yeah, that was a good time. Oh man, those are great. Those are probably like top 5 tour treats that we experienced. Maybe one.
You know,
That
it might be number
one. That
one,
might
bro.
be
I
one,
ain't gonna
bro.
cap. Well, yeah, whatever.
That might be one.
Tour's awesome.
Yeah.
But then I guess the last thing, because we're talking about Matt and homie himself, is I'm because I mean nothing else happened, right? I'm about to talk about.
I don't even know where you're
I'm
going.
talking about leaving the event now.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I can't remember anything else that happened. That was.
Oh, you did have a funny story.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I'm driving away because, like I said, Swiss is now going home.
Yes.
I'm on my way to. Oh fuck! I forgot that I
You're-
was also supposed to drive a guy's.
Oh yeah, the
What do you
die
call
guy
that? What do you call that?
trailer,
Yeah, I was supposed to just drive a guy's trailer to Kentucky because I'm friendly. You know, I wasn't gonna say no.
dude. Jefferson agreed to this like weeks before Ledgestone, and like as we got closer to Ledgestone, I'd be like, so how you gonna like hitch this thing, bro? Yeah, he's got everything, man. Don't worry about it. Like,
about it?
hey Jefferson, like, is he driving with you? I don't know. We'll figure it out when we're there. Then we get there for the press conference. I'm like, hey, man, did you talk to the guy yet? Nah, man, not yet. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, you were literally supposed to take this whole trailer to Ledgestone, and this guy's like, maybe going with you, may not be going with
Yeah.
you. And then, like, and I'm about to cut out, and it's like literally the last day. Jay still doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Like, he's like, still doesn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, I'm going home. Like,
Yeah.
I tried telling you to work on this. You didn't work on
But
this.
it was fine because we found out that I had no hitch and I couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
he had a backup plan. I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure I asked Jay how he was going to hitch this up.
But it's not on me. Like
It's not. I get
it doesn't affect me.
You were
if
you were the
thing doesn't get
vehicle.
there, you know.
I understand your argument, but yeah,
I'm just being a nice guy. Like if you could get it unattached, we'll do it. Like,
Yeah.
I got you, bro.
that was pretty.
yeah, I
funny.
forgot that
I
wasn't
wish
even
you took
taken
it. I
care
think
of.
it would have been a better story if you actually
Oh,
took
it would have
it.
been hilarious.
You would have something would have fucked up. for sure.
Obviously, nothing ever goes right. Like, there's
No.
always gonna be a bump in the road. Like
Like when,
that's how
especially
we
when
do
you drive by
things.
yourself, I think like bad things happen too. When you're on like,
Usually.
yeah.
They're always funny stories. It's usually
Can't
funny.
wait till you get another flat on the way to the
No,
expo.
why would you say that out loud, bro? That was a scary moment. I didn't like that moment, but funny. So,
Nice.
but we're leaving the tournament now, and I
Sure.
get a call, and I'm like just about to hop on the main highway to go to Kentucky. I don't even know what it was, but whatever. Get the call. Hey, have you left yet? I was like, kinda. He's like, oh man, Matt left his stuff at the hotel because it was in a trash bag. So we thought that
Oh,
the
we
two
kinda
big
cleaned
ass
it
trash
out.
bags
Yeah.
were trash.
yeah.
So we threw those away in the dumpster. Get that call, and then literally they drove all the way to Nashville from Peoria, and they were about a couple minutes away from their house. And they're like, and Matt asks Christen, "Where's his stuff?" It's like, "Oh, we threw the bag away." And then I get that call. It's like, "Hey, You gotta go back to the hotel because they made a guy dig out the bag from the dumpster, and then I now had to pick it up. And like, you know what? So whatever you're imagining it is, it was like I can't even
I
describe
think
it.
like didn't they? So they left in the morning. Yeah, they didn't have a round that final day,
Mm-mm.
where it was so early. They got back like almost before we
Yeah.
left for the final, and they were like, "I'm just gonna go home." Or
Mhm.
like we said our goodbyes, and so yeah, now that makes sense because they were in Nashville, and we still watched the entire event.
Yeah.
Oh man, but we were out of that hotel. Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we had all our stuff out when they left, of course. So like.
So you had all day for people to throw
I do remember
garbage
you
on
calling
top
me
of
while
it.
I'm driving home. You're like, guess what I gotta do? Like you were like 40 minutes on the road and turned back.
I was
right?
a bit on the road. Yeah.
Yeah, like you weren't like you were still in Illinois, but like you were like
like I said, I was kind of gone, but I was like,
yeah,
all his stuff was there, and I was going to see him.
yeah.
Why was I gonna? I was gonna see him for some reason.
And he rolled a mighty great blunt.
Yeah,
so.
and he told me, so I had to help him out. Like you take him for the team because that thing was also filled with garbage juice, and it smelled so bad I had to keep it up.
The
in
bag?
yeah, I had to keep it in the stowaway
Oh
because it was
man.
just like gross. And then it was just sitting there in the heat, and I was like, oh my god, oh my. Every time I like unlock it to grab something up top,
Dude, especially like on the like Sunday, that hotel was like full. Oh man.
it's all you dirty disc golfers.
Yeah. Pack that.
I forgot
in.
when did I see him? How long did I have that? I must
No,
have had
didn't
it.
he? No, didn't he go to Ledgestone?
Oh yeah, I was Idlewild. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Idle. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, I met him at Idlewild. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, damn.
Yeah, he went to Idlewild.
Yeah, so I had it for like a couple days, but still, didn't like it.
Nice.
That kind of previews the next episode. Is going to be the first one where pretty much you can interrogate me or
Oh yeah.
ask for follow up questions.
Yeah, this is where. And don't get me wrong, like even when Jay was there, like dude, like Jay would still call me, "Hey, this happened. Hey, this was said. This I was told this."
And Idlewild's a good one because it was when we had the conversation.
Didn't you
with
have the
Yuli.
dinner?
I had a dinner. Yeah,
This is the big dinner,
this
right?
is the huge dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. This is the dinner. I showed up 40 minutes.
We should
late
preview
to.
this because this is
Oh,
also the Yuli, right?
This was the Yuli.
All
That's what
right,
I'm saying.
We
like,
should preview this a little bit. So like, also Ledgestone, like one of the weirdest things about Ledgestone. Yeah, we forgot about to talk about this, so I'll go into a little bit.
go
of this.
for it.
So like one of the right before Ledgestone ended, this was the Yuli Black Eye,
Mhm.
and we did that video, and it was I did that. I think it was Twig. Right?
It was Twig,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
it
on
was
a Twig. And man, I really didn't want to do it. Like I think I even said it in the video. I really like tried to avoid it, and then it wouldn't go away. And then like Yuli addressed it. And like I was like, bro, Yuli, you should just play dumb, so I didn't have to do this. And then like, so yeah, I did a piece on it, and I did the piece of what we were told was what happened, and I like so I do remember the final. I think we were sitting on the island hole, and like that was probably like as much as like we get interviewed and we get asked, like everyone just assumes like are the pros cool with us or do they mind the jokes that we say? We always get asked that. This is like the only one where I kind of like was worried of like a pro thought on it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like this was like every other time it was like, man, if a pro took something the wrong way, like that was a joke. Like I'm sorry. Like could it have been a bad joke? Yes, but it wasn't meant to be malicious. Like none of my stuff is meant to be malicious. But yeah, so this was the one that I was worried about the most. And then like so that whole weekend was kind of weird because it was that Friday's video. So like yeah.
Yeah, so it was like 2 days and it banged. Like, it got,
Yeah,
a
so
bunch
like
of
even
views.
like even the Fly Mart, like I'm walking in the Fly Mart, I'm like, dude, you got to go through Discraft's area to go where that food and drinks are, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for someone to like stop me and talk to me and like bitch about it. Nothing happened.
No,
Like,
nothing happened until the next week. Of
Yeah,
course.
nothing happened except the Jay.
Yeah,
so
but that's good. We'll tell the next time.
Yeah,
Next week.
and that's what Jay got to deal with that.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't there, and then the dinner, and then what else did you? Oh, you also stayed with family?
Yeah, I got to hang out at the family's crib, so that was cool. I got kicked off the course one day.
At Idlewild?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How come I don't remember that story?
It's not that cool of a story. It just happened. I don't want to like tell anymore of it here because you got to watch next week's episode. But other
Heck of a
than that,
teaser. That's it.
I think I walked away. I got a bunch of free discs, but that's just
From Idlewild?
Well, Kyson just kept buying me
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure there's that was the big thing was the Yuli. I would say that would.
Dude,
And then we had a big business meeting that was pretty legit. That kind of in the few weeks here, months here, who knows?
could be something.
Could be something.
That
I
was
think I'm gonna
pretty-
leave you off on that. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Next week.